Hello everyone, Darkblane here, back playing some more AFK Arena. And in this video, I want to look at some of the Wilder's engraving skills. I don't want to look at all the Wilders in this video, but I want to look at some of the Wilder's engraving skills in this video. So let's get on with the video. Okay, I'm going to go over to the Wilder's portraits. Go over to the portraits section. Yeah, just like I said, I just want to review a few of them, mainly because there are quite a few of the Wilders like Olmus and Cirrus that I think no matter, even if their engraving system is really good, that they're not really going to be used because I feel like they need more than just their engravings. So yeah, the first one I'm going to start off with is Laika, since Laika is a very useful hero here. Yeah, just remember that the engravings only affect the bottom two skills here, so this one and this one. I'm going to start off by reading the skills here. So the first one is called Laika bounds onto the battlefield at the beginning of battles. It inspires her allies, increasing their haste by 35 points for 8 seconds. And at level 2, regenerates 70 energy points for Laika and her allies. And at level 3, energy restored increased by up to 100 points. That's the first ability for Laika. And the second ability is Foe's Fragility. When Laika deals damage to an enemy, their defense is reduced by 15% and their crit block rate is reduced by 12% for 5 seconds. This ability cannot be stacked. And at level 2, defense ratings is decreased by 20%. And at level 3, defense rating is decreased by 25%. So those are the two Laika's skills there that will be affected by the engraving. Now I'm going to look at Laika's engraving skills here. Enhance the ability, duration of haste increase is extended to 10 seconds. So if I look back on this skill here, it looks like it just goes up to 8, so it's giving Laika 2 extra seconds, giving everybody in the battlefield 2 extra seconds of haste here, which I feel like would be very useful. I mean, if you're talking about haste being probably one of the most important attributes in the entire game, if you're able to extend the time you get haste, it's going to really benefit your team. No matter how many seconds you're extending it by, it's gonna help your team out. So I feel like this one is pretty good for Laika. Next one is Foe's Fragility here. Enhance the ability Foe's Fragility. Crit block rate is reduced by 20%. So yeah, it's just reducing the crit block rate even more, which if I look back on this one here, crit block rate is reduced by 12%. So it's decreasing it by 8%, I believe. Yeah, decreasing it by 8%, which isn't bad, I guess. I mean, the first one I feel like is definitely could be useful though. Yeah, overall, Laika's engravings sound pretty good here. And the next one I'm going to look at is Cassie, another very strong hero in the Wilder faction. Looking at her first skill here, Banishment. Cassie banishes the enemy target with the highest attack rating for 4 seconds. While in a banished state, the enemy cannot attack or be attacked. And at level 2, steals 40% of the target's attack rating while they are banished. And at level 3, duration is extended up to 6 seconds. So it's pretty good ability there. And the second one here, Teleportation. After suffering damage, Cassie extricates herself from any control abilities that are afflicting her and teleports behind a random enemy target. While teleporting, Cassie is unable to be attacked. After teleporting, Cassie increases her nearby allies' haste and attacks any nearby enemies, dealing 140% damage to them. This ability has a cooldown period of 6 seconds. And with level 2, cooldown time is reduced each time Cassie is struck. And at level 3, damage is increased to 170%. Okay, let's go over to Cassie's Engraving here. And enhance the ability banishment steals 55% of the target's attack rating while they are banished. So if I go back here, that steals 40% of the target's attack rating. So it's increasing it by an additional 15%, which I feel like this is a pretty good ability because it's stealing attack rating, which I feel like if you're stealing attack rating, it's going to do quite a bit here, especially 15% more attack rating. I feel like this ability would be pretty good. It's a pretty good engraving ability for Cassie. Enhance the ability teleportation. Damage is increased to 190%. I believe originally it's at 170, so yeah, it's at 170, so it's increasing it by an additional 20%, which I feel like, compared to all the other engravings that I've seen, like with the dimensionals, I feel like this one's about average. Yeah, it's about average, increasing it by an additional 20%. So yeah, I feel like overall Cassie's engravings are going to be also really good for her. And the next one I'm going to look at is Iron. Again, another very powerful Wilder here. And looking at his first ability, Vortex, Iron uses his elemental powers to generate a powerful gust of wind that draws in all enemies standing within a certain range of himself, which deals 140% damage to them. And at level 2, damage is increased to 150%, and at level 3, damage is increased to 160%. And looking at Sylvan Oath, passive increases Iron's attack rating by 15% and gives his attacks a 30% chance to ignore his enemy's defense ratings. Any damage dealt to enemies that are shielded is multiplied by 150%. At level 2, 50% chance to ignore enemy defense ratings, and at level 3 increases attack rating by 20%. So that's the second ability that'll be affected by the engravings here. And enhance the ability Vortex. Damage is increased to 170%. So originally damage is increased to 160%. So it's only increasing it by 10%, which is really below average. I think average is about 20%-ish. So yeah, this one's kind of below average. And the Sylvan Oath, enhance the ability Sylvan Oath, 65% chance to ignore enemy defense ratings. And if I go back here, there's a 50% chance. So it's increasing the chance to ignore enemy defense ratings by 15%. I feel like the second ability here would be pretty useful. The more he's able to ignore enemy defense, the more damage he'll do ultimately. So I feel like the Sylvan Oath one is a very good one. And if you notice, I'm not reviewing this Endeavor one because this one's just for PvP. I mean, you're just increasing some stats here. There's no really there's nothing really special about that, really, to me, honestly. So yeah, I feel like Iron's engravings are going to be pretty good, especially getting that second ability one would be really good for Iron. And I think the last one I will review here will be Raku. Raku is being used quite a bit. So yeah, Raku would be a one to look out for, I think. Looking at his first ability, Peckish. Raku eats a snack that makes him immune to control abilities and raises his attack rating by 30% and haste by 30 points for 8 seconds. Now level 2, Raku's attack rating is raised by 40% and his haste is raised by 40 points. And at level 3, Raku's attack ratings is raised by 50% and haste is raised by 50 points. So there's that one. And Raku's Mark. Whenever an enemy target is under the effects of a control ability, Raku will additionally target them with his normal attack over the next 4 seconds. His passive here, damage dealt to any enemies under the effects of a control ability is increased by 35%. And at level 2, damage dealt to any enemies under the effects of a control ability is increased by 40%. And then this next one here is just increasing it by to 45% here. Okay, so looking at the engravings for Raku, enhance the ability Peckish, duration of abilities effects are extended to 10 seconds. So if we're looking at this one here, it's only lasting for 8 seconds. So this one's looking a lot like, I believe it was Leica's, where it's increasing the haste for an additional 2 seconds, which, yeah, like I said with Leica's, this one I think will be very useful. Definitely the longer you're able to have haste, the better your team off will be. Enhance the ability Raku's Mark. Whenever an enemy target is under the effects of a control ability, Raku will additionally target them with his normal attack over the next 6 seconds. So this one, I believe it was at 4 seconds. Yeah, at 4 seconds. So it's now increasing it an additional 2 seconds here. So I feel like that one will be pretty good as well, doing even more damage to the enemy targets. Yeah, I feel like Raku's will be very useful. Getting Raku to both his first and second ability will be pretty good as well. So yeah, those are the wilders that I wanted to review. I only wanted to review 4 here because I feel like Olmus and Cirrus, I feel like even if their engravings are very powerful, that they still won't be used very much because I feel like they need more than just engravings in order to actually be used. So yeah, this will be pretty much the end of the video. I just wanted to look at the wilder engravings, see Leica, Cassie, Iron, and Raku I think will be very useful with will be even more powerful, I guess I should say, with their engravings. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, and comment anything you want to see me do in AFK Arena, and I might do it in the future. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.